Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking this crazy, invisible force that literally dictates our decisions, our habits, basically our entire lives. So you gotta ask yourself, are we actually independent thinkers, or are we just blindly following age-old practices simply because, well, that's how it's always been done? It's time to figure out how to forge a path beyond blind tradition.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Think about it. Are the systems you trust actually paralyzing you? Kind of an unsettling thought, right? Because we naturally assume that all these frameworks built up around us, the ones we've trusted for generations, we assume they're there to protect us. But what if our unyielding reliance on them is actually a massive trap?
That brings us to our first main point, the trap of systems and the invisible webs all around us.
Now, what's really mind-blowing is the sheer omnipresent scope of these structures. They basically fall into two huge buckets. First, you've got your public systems. This is that giant nexus of healthcare, education, political governance, the big stuff. But they absolutely do not stop at the public level. They sneak right into our private lives as localized systems. We're talking family traditions, caste structures, even deep-rooted superstitions. They are literally surrounding us at every single level. And because these webs are just so deeply tangled up in our daily lives, a huge danger emerges. A complete and total lack of critical thought. People just cling to these age-old practices without ever taking a second to stop and ask, wait, are these even relevant today? We completely fail to analyze if these systems are actually working for us, or if, blindly sticking to them is quietly destroying our potential. So, let's look at the cost of this blind loyalty and why we end up defending the obsolete. The tragic irony here is it's profound. On one hand, people will defend these limiting systems literally to the death. Will support an ideology even when there is clear, undeniable evidence that it's causing us harm. And what exactly does the system do in return? It runs on these totally obsolete policies designed to disempower us. It keeps everybody rigid and dependent. It's crazy. We're fighting for them while they're actively preventing the everyday person from ever realizing their true potential. So hearing that, your natural reaction might be anger, right? Like, why not just tear the whole system down? Well, here is a much-needed reality check. Systems actually have a life cycle of their very own. Because they provide a livelihood to millions of people, they take on this huge collective life that makes them practically impossible to just change from the outside. Actually, scratch that. It's not just difficult, it's nearly impossible. But, and this is a big but, we absolutely cannot let this make us feel helpless. Which brings us to the pivot. It's time to shift our focus straight towards self-reliance. So the absolutely crucial point here is perfectly captured by this idea. In this age of information, ignorance is a choice. We have to stop with the external frustration and step up to internal responsibility. We really can't keep blaming these archaic systems anymore, because today, the tools to enlighten ourselves are literally right at our fingertips. Ignorance just isn't a valid excuse anymore. It's an active, daily choice we make. Now, sure, some traditions can still offer a general sense of direction. We can acknowledge that. But we absolutely cannot afford to be blind followers, just marching in line because, well, it's what the majority's doing. We have to be brave enough to step out of the herd. By equipping ourselves with the absolute latest knowledge, we actually gain the superpower to think objectively. We empower ourselves to make rational, calculated decisions instead of just passively floating along on a river of outdated traditions. And that leads right into forging a unique path, doing what the majority simply will not do. Let's look at how this builds into an actionable roadmap. How do we actually break free? Okay, first up, equip yourself with the latest knowledge. Stop relying on those old, dusty assumptions. Second, choose a neglected cause to work on. Do something the majority won't even touch. Third, you have to embrace the friction. Be fully willing to struggle and develop yourself through that process. And finally, number 4, provide undeniable value to other people through your own unique passion. Ultimately, this whole thing is a massive challenge to walk the path less traveled. Instead of just waiting for some archaic system to tell you where to go, you need to be the one holding the lantern. Embrace that struggle. Take 100% responsibility for yourself and make that jump from being a passive follower of obsolete traditions into a truly active, rational leader. Which brings us to our final and maybe most important thought. I want you to look around your own life right now and ask yourself, what daily routine will you choose today to gain your unique advantage? It is officially time to stop blindly following, start thinking objectively, and take some real, rational action. Thanks so much for exploring this with me on The Explainer. Until next time, keep questioning the systems around you.